Already, we have reached week 9 of the NFL season already at this point, almost at the halfway mark, which actually, no, yeah, we have hit the actual halfway mark of the season. And I'm excited for these picks this week. We have two teams on a bye, the Steelers and the 49ers. They'll be on bye this week. And last week, there was a lot of curveballs. I mean, the Jets and the Ravens losing. Who would have thought that? But I'm excited for my picks this week. And we have an exciting matchup for Thursday Night Football. You have the Texans versus the Jets. And the Jets somehow are favored in this game. I have no idea how they are. In their last performance, they lost to the Patriots, which I was shocked about. Aaron Rodgers looks like a shell of himself. The defense continues to regress without Salah. The only bright sides to this Jets team are that you have someone in Garrett Wilson, you have someone in Breece Hall. The defense is regressing without Robert Salah. If you look at Houston, even without Nico Collins, they're still finding ways to win. I have no choice but to take the Texans in this one, 24-16. The Jets have I'm pretty much out on the Jets at this point because you can't lose that game to the Patriots when your season's on the line. They're sitting at 2-6. I don't see a way where they win this game, and I could be wrong on it, but I doubt I am. Houston will take this one 24-16. Next up, you go to the Sunday slate. You have the Bengals and the Raiders. Bengals coming off a rough, kind of ugly loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, which I was surprised about, really surprised about. But the Eagles, they just ran all over that defense. And Joe Burrow played a good game in the other one, but, he had his moments where it was kind of sketchy. So I don't know with them. It's a team where they could still make the playoffs. This isn't over yet. The schedule eases up. This is a must-win for them if they want to do that, though. And the Raiders trading away pieces, kind of Minshew's their guy. They're kind of in a weird spot right now. I'm going to take the Bengals 21-15. I have faith they win this game. I don't know if they cover. That -8 spread is a lot, but I think they win 21-15. Next up, you go to the Chargers versus the Cleveland Browns, who are coming off a huge win out of nowhere against the Baltimore Ravens. Jameis Winston, I think what it is I think Stefanski's offense runs a lot smoother when he has a gunslinger-type quarterback that's able to air it out. Watson's more of a not really a deep air-it-out kind of guy. Jameis is. And obviously they got Nick Chubb back. They have all the defensive components that you want. But I still think the Chargers win this game. I think their defense is very consistent. Justin Herbert looks good with a bunch of scrubs that he's throwing to. And J.K. Dobbins has been consistent. They got good coaching there. But I think it's close. I think it's 27-24 Chargers. I think it's a really close battle. But at the end of the day, I got to give the nod to the Chargers. Next up, you go up against the reeling Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons. And the Cowboys, it's just been a circus this year. It's been a mess. That's a game against San Francisco that they just should have won, and they didn't. And it really wasn't close. They had to come back at the end like they're used to doing. It's actually become a trend with Dak Prescott-led teams. The Mike McCarthy situation's kind of out of control. Atlanta has looked pretty solid. Kirk Cousins, Drake London out there. The defense has been okay. Give me Atlanta. Give me them 30-26 in this one. I think that Kirk Cousins and them find a way to get it done over the helpless right now Cowboys. It could swing the opposite way, but I just think Atlanta takes this. Next up, you go to Buffalo versus Miami. And if you're looking at Buffalo, this is a team that has just been competitive, winning a lot of games, playing really well. And you've had James Cook, you've had Josh Allen, you've had a lot of things going your way correctly. And then you go to a Miami team that looked depleted without Tua and just isn't in a great spot. Nobody can play. They can't play without Tua for some reason. He's back, but I'm not buying into it. I don't think they beat the Bills here. I think the Bills win 34-23. Give me them over Miami. I think it's a pretty easy victory. Next, we go to the Patriots coming off their big win against the Jets versus the Tennessee Titans. And Tennessee's just looked bad to me. They've traded away pieces. I don't know about Rudolph as their quarterback. I don't know about some of the New England although they have to play Jacoby Brissett, I still think that they can beat this Tennessee team. Give me them 13-10. I still think they have the ability to win this game, and that's why I'm going to take them 13-10. Next up, you go to the Washington Commanders versus the New York Giants. And I think that the Giants are just kind of reeling right now. Daniel Jones, I think it's clear. If it wasn't already, he's just not the guy for the position there in New York. If you're looking at Washington, what a game against the Bears. The game was lost. Jaden Daniels, I didn't even know he could throw the ball that far, does that. He's incredible. He's an incredible player. I think they get this win pretty easily, 27-17. I don't think it's that much of a debate for this one. That's why I'm going to take the Commanders 27-17. Next up, you go to what I call the garbage game. You go to the Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. And I have a shocker here. I think Carolina wins this 17-13. I think they get this win. The Saints just look like they're reeling. I don't know the status of Derek Carr right now, but if he isn't to play, that Hainer guy can't win these games. They've looked bad with him. It's just not going to work out if that's the situation. Even if they have Derek Carr, maybe you flip it the opposite way. But this is in the assumption they don't have him. Give me the Panthers 17-13. Next, you go to the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens, and this is going to be a good clash. Broncos, they've looked pretty good. They've looked pretty good recently. Now, it hasn't been against great opponents, but they've dominated those games against the inferior, as some would say, opponents, and they've looked really good doing it. Baltimore, on the other hand, coming off a tough loss against Cleveland, I still think they get this win. Lamar Jackson, really solid player, as we all know. 30-27 is my prediction. I think it's a lot closer than people think. Baltimore's favored by like 9. I think they win by 3. I think it's a close, tight battle, and it kind of puts the Broncos on a bit more notice, like, wow. But Baltimore coming off a loss like that, I doubt they lose after a loss like that to Cleveland. Next up, you go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have actually been looking a lot better, versus the Philadelphia Eagles, who maybe they've put it together. I have Philadelphia in this game 21-17. I think they've maybe put it together a little bit more. They're starting to roll. It's a Super Bowl level roster. I don't love the coaching situation. That's been my biggest knock on them. I don't love the coaching situation. But if they can get that figured out, then they could roll. They could find a way in the playoffs. We'll see. But in this particular game, Jacksonville has looked really good, but Brian Thomas Jr. might not play, and he's been huge for them this year, like the number one option for them, emerging as one of the top guy, like a top wide NFL wide receiver. He's done it over the Raps, I feel like, just because he's in Jacksonville, but he might not be there. So if he's not there, then I got to give this to Philadelphia 21-17. Next up, we go to the Chicago Bears and the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona coming off that big, dramatic win. The Bears coming off that big, dramatic loss. I think the Bears bounce back. I think they win 20-13. Like I said, they should have won that game. It's a pretty solid team all the way around. Great defense. It takes Caleb Williams a little bit of time to get going, but once he does, he can make plays. I think it's safe to say that he's going to be a solid quarterback in this league, and I think they get a win against the Cardinals 20-13. Next, you go to what I think is probably the biggest game of the week, the Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. And if you're looking at this game, a lot of me wanted to take the Packers because Detroit has just looked so good that maybe you're thinking they're due for a loss here. But I think they're too good. I got Detroit 34-31. They've looked incredible. Even without Aiden Hutchinson, they're putting up that many points. The defense is playing that well. It's sinking together. Like 47-51. It's getting ridiculous. Green Bay is a good team. They're going to put up a fight. I think it's 34-17. But I can't bet against the Detroit Lions right now. I just can't do it. There's no way I can do it. Next, we go to the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. And for this one, I think it's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a battle of a game, but I like the Rams in this one, 28-24. You got Cooper Kupp back. You got Puka Nacua back. The offense is kind of moving together. You're seeing Stafford play a lot better. Their defense, they got a lot of collection of young guys. Geno, I just don't know with them. I really don't know with the Seattle team. They're sitting at 4-4. I don't know what to make of them. I'm going to take the Rams 28-24. Next up, you go to the Colts versus Minnesota, who's dropped 2 in a row. And I think the Vikings get a pick-me-up win here. I think it's 28-21. Joe Flacco will play for the Colts, but I don't think it's enough to get over this Minnesota team. They're really sound on defense, really sound on offense. Don't have that like elite quarterback that can get them over the edge, in my opinion. But Sam Darnold's good enough to go out and win a boatload of games for this team with the rosters this good. So give me them 28-21. I think they find a way to win this game. And then next we go to Monday Night Football, and you have Tampa Bay versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think the Chiefs, they keep going. It's 24-14 in my opinion. I think they keep winning. They advance to 8-0. Ridiculous, continue to win. I just think that they're going to do this because Tampa Bay is just struck out at wide receiver at this point. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin down. It's just going to be a tough game for Baker to win. Even if you have them, it's a coin flip. Without them, I have to take Kansas City. And I will be back at this point for Week 10.